What is up, guys? Today's video is going to be something that is actually long overdue, in my opinion, when it comes to Shaco. It's going to be all about clone micro and clone usage and how to use clone effectively in any given situation. This is something that I regret not doing sooner because I think the difference between a good Shaco and a great Shaco is entirely based on their clone usage. There's always going to be some decision making things, but like most of the high skill expression that exists within Shaco's kit comes from the way that you use your clone and being able to use it correctly and optimal in any given situation, regardless of if you're AP or AD or whatnot. If you're juking, if you're not clone juking, if you're resetting it with like a rubber band mechanic, or not like how you use clone and if you are able to do it efficiently is the deciding factor on whether or not you can be a very good Shaco player, in my opinion. So let's get into it. First things first, I'll just start with a standard AD Shaco burst combo. So let's assume, let's go mid. Let's assume that this is mid game, mid to late game, and I want to go for a assassination kill on the enemy AD carry, for example. Like there's a fight in mid lane, right? Like my team's over here, their team's over here. There's a fight going on, and my goal is to kill the enemy AD carry as fast as possible before she has time to react to the play. Right, so a standard combo, I'm going to Q in, and then I'm going to press R. That was actually not well executed, but I'm going to press R when I get on top of their character model. Let's do it again. I'll show you guys a better way to... I should have leveled up more to get, because, yeah, later on in the game, I'll have more points in Q. Yeah, okay, so we're going to Q in, and once I'm on top, I'm going to press R and immediately burst out with clone. The goal of this is to spawn and start DPSing at the same time, with zero hesitation or time for them to react with, like, a flash away or whatever. The reason I'm showing you that is because that's the fastest and most damage, in an instant, whereas there's other combos that you can do, for example, especially with Hail of Blades. Many of you probably already know the interaction of Shaco clone with Hail. If you use your ult while the real Shaco has Hail of Blades procced, your clone will have permanent Hail of Blades. So a lot of people consider it to be a very strong Shaco mechanic. You can't always use it because a lot of times you just hit them, and then when you go to ulti, they'll just walk away. But yeah, a lot of times you can use it to kite because you're going to auto and then press R. Now that I have Hail active, my clone has Hail permanently. As you can see, it has 1.91 attack speed because I copied my Hail stats. A lot of times I'll use this to kite, right? Because my clone is applying a slow. If I know I can't straight up win, I'll go for the Hail proc and kite around and use it like that. Obviously, Hail Clone is really strong. I use that very, very frequently. It's not as much immediate damage because, obviously they have, like, in this window when you're pressing R, they have time to react. You could say that this combo does more damage overall, but it's not the instantaneous burst that you're getting from the first one I showed you. And when you're going to hear me talking about, like, resetting or rubber banding your clone, where, essentially it goes out of the radius and then it resets to you. This is something that's absolutely crucial if you want to be a good Shaco player, is understanding how to use this and using it efficiently. Because a lot of Shaco players are not microing their clone the way they need to be. You should be resetting it to you a lot, especially on AP Shaco, right? Like if it's because they're using it in a way where it's if it can't walk up to them and reach them, then you should be sending it away. You shouldn't be putting it in harm's way. Because a good Shaco player, you can have your clone teleport to you whenever you want if you execute it correctly, right? Instead of trying to have my clone follow me and walk all the way around, I'm just constantly, even when it lands here, I think he's going there, so I bring my clone to me here by sending him away. And then look what happens. I thought he was going to explode there. He flashes the wall. Do I have my clone give up and then, I try to have clone chase him? No. Immediately send the clone away again. Send clone that way, and I'm just playing for the rubber band constantly because you don't need to bring your clone to you. It'll come to you. Send him away. clone usage is just like women, guys. Okay, it's the more the more you try to, you're doing too much. You're in their space. The less it does for you. Okay, the clone wants to play hard to get. You gotta push him away. Like, you just want to constantly be paying attention to your clone's position and being able to reset him. Yeah. Being able to reset your, because it's really fun. When clone and yourself are moving in opposite directions, it's so easy to reset. It just doesn't take very long, right? So you definitely need to get used to abusing that mechanic. Here's an example of a rubber band clone for you guys. This was one of my best, like, in terms of execution. This is like exactly how you want to be doing it, looking to do it in this clip. That's how you use it right there. Whereas it just dies, like, there's zero counterplay to that, right? I don't even have any mana, like, we just triple kill, and it's a perfect situation. My clone is low HP, it's the timer on it is resetting, and they're under turret, right? You're getting so much value out of that rubber band play, and a lot of ChaseShaco players don't even abuse this mechanic. Like, I would argue that this is the most important mechanic to know. I'm timing it the way that I am. One, because it's about to expire, but also because the wave is crashing, right? So I want to be catching them when they're under turret like this. Because this isn't even that hard to execute. I just put my clone down and then walk myself up. Right? Like this, but once you get good at this mechanic, that is when you become a very good ChaseShaco player, and a very scary ChaseShaco player is one, when you can execute this, and two, when you start to understand and see the situations to use it. Because, like, on paper, this looks int, and then this resets onto all of them, and they instantly die, right? Like, ChaseShaco's broken off that. All right, another AP ChaseShaco use of clone here. What we're going to do here is we're going to abuse the fact that you can ulti while still in your Q animation. It can be very strong on AP ChaseShaco to make them kill your clone. So I'm going to drop it here, and I want it to be on AoE where they're going to kill it before they see me. So I'm staying in Q and I'm waiting, I'm letting them kill me and hoping, like, even if it looks like it's kind of obviously the clone in this particular clip, it's not as obvious as you think, because to them there's like my team is here too, and it's kind of a hectic situation. So being able to identify the situation where you can kind of just drop clone and they're probably going to kill it is another factor that's going to make you a lot better at ChaseShaco. Especially in a situation like this where you're in a tight space, they have a lot of AoE damage in Rumble and Cat. Throw it out there regardless, even if they know that, like, they should probably even know, but it's like putting it there means that they either have to run or they're just dead. So you don't really give them a choice, and most of the time, unless you're playing in, like, high challenger, these players are going to kill the clone. Like, most of the time they're going to kill the clone. So yeah, that's another way to use it. The other thing to keep in mind when it comes to AP ChaseShaco is the value of when you commit to the clone juke, even if they don't fall for it, sending your clone in a different direction, like this. Hold on. This plays a perfect example of what it could mean, because it's not even risky to go for the clone juke here. Again, this is a situation where I'm never going to win if he doesn't fall for the juke, if he doesn't kill the clone. So I'm going for the clone juke because this is a win-win situation. Even if he just ignores the clone entirely, which, to be fair, like, it's very unlikely that they're going to do this, because this is a high, like, these are high elo players falling for it. If you get good enough at the micro of making yourself look like a clone and making your clone look like a human, 9 times out of 10 they're going to fall for it. But even if they don't, what happens is, if Hecarim is chasing me instead of the clone, I'm already sending my clone in the opposite direction, and I'm running away from the Hecarim to where it'll reset my clone anyways, right? But yeah, like, this is all about commitment. Again, like, the commitment to it is so important. Like, I don't show my hand until at the very last second. And out of tilt, he's so mad now. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So this is a good example of a standard clone juke. So I'm going to auto him, and then I immediately press R, and I send my clone in the opposite direction, right? So for this play specifically, I'm trying to make myself look like the clone. The funny part is I have Sweeper going, so he should know which one's the real one. But I managed to pull off this Juke because of his natural instinct, right? Because I'm standing still, the real one is standing still, and the clone I am immediately micro moving out of the ultimate animation. So his brain, the immediate instinct is that this is the real one because this is the one that is giving commands right off the bat. And that's what most Shaco players do, is that they'll move themselves and then clone. And once you are able to learn the mechanic of moving your clone instead of yourself first, by sending the command to move clone during the ulti animation, that is when you become a Shaco player that cannot be predicted, and that is when you will consistently start to land clone jukes like this. Yeah, this is like a standard clone juke. I like how I almost lose this fight anyways. I think this is another clone juke as well, this play. These are old clips, but they still apply in terms of like the logic behind them. So I'm gonna E in. And keep in mind, clone jukes like this, like these, I'm doing them. The reason, you'll see a constant, the reason why I'm doing these clone jukes is because I do not win in a straight up 1v1 without juke making a clone play happen. Right? So these are the situations where you want to be executing clone jukes because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain in this situation. If I were to just be winning a straight up 1v1 against him, I wouldn't even worry about the clone juke. But I have to go for the clone juke here because if he's in a straight up fight where he presses R on me, I hard lose. I have to get the clone juke execution off here. Which is funny because he's a 2 and 5. And he's underleveled. But yes, those are the situations where you want to be clone juking, is when you absolutely do not win the fight without them. Yeah, again, I'm going to send clone away. I'm going to stutter step a little bit. That's important as well. When you're playing AP Shaco, that last command that I gave to him, to my clone, the very, very last command is what made sure that Jin died. The second, I was patient with it, right? You want to wait until they commit to killing you, quote unquote. I'm not going to send him back towards him yet. Now we send him back in because I want him to die on Jin. Right? But if I start running him back towards Jin immediately, he's going to be like, okay, something's up. But if I wait until he's going to kill him to get back into range, then he kills it immediately. Right? And that gets me the kill. This clone usage is a very, very powerful ganking tool. I use this a lot when I play AP Shaco. It still has great value on AD Shaco as well, but I find myself relying on it more when I'm playing AP because my autos obviously don't do as much damage as if I were AD in the early game. But this ganking tool is really, really strong. So imagine, this is my bot lane, this is their bot lane. Obviously, they don't see me here, but I'm going to go for this gank. What I'm going to do, I press R and I just send my clone under the turret. I take 2, 3 shots, and I'm ganking with clone. So what happens is they start to back up, and then they realize that, oh shit, I can't back up because my clone is dying and blocking off their escape route. And they get feared right back into my team, leaving them nowhere to go. This play pretty much forces a flash every time, or at least it forces them to fight a bad fight, because it's 2v3. So you just queue over, you just drop clone, and you want it to be, you can move it in and out of the turret, like I can hold it here if they start to run back up, and you want it to essentially just be exploding, like take the last shot to where it lands wherever it is that they are on the last hit to where it explodes on them, obviously. So, yeah. Here's another clone juke. I wanted to make sure I included this one specifically because I wanted to show you guys that these, like if you do this well enough, if you do this correctly, you can literally juke anyone. So this clone juke this is honestly a couple of years old. This was against Doublelift and Treats when he was on TSM. So these, debatably the best support and the best AD carry player in the LCS at the time, in this challenger game, that I'm going for the clone juke on, that it works perfectly, right? So yeah, if you do these like the clone micro correctly, there's no limit to what you can do with this champion. You can also use clone to dodge a bunch of different objectives. Sorry, the grubs are here too, but obviously you can dodge the rift hit with it. I do that a lot. You can also dodge the clone hit, or sorry, the Drake hit, the knockback. Let's see, where's my fast forward? Okay, so you're gonna auto it immediately, and then just press R, and you're gonna dodge that every time as well. So, most Shaco players know this. If you're a newer Shaco player, you might not. You have a free ulti, like you have a free get out of jail free card with this. It's this specific spot right here in this nook under the. It's like under it, right? Where this branch is kind of on top of you. If you are standing here and your cursor is right over the wall, you are able to ult out of the dragon pit 100% of the time without fail. That will work every single time, 100% guaranteed. So what that means is, a good Shaco player, if the enemy team is on dragon right now, for example, but I don't want to risk dying for this, right? Like, it's not, even if I get it, like, there's no reason to risk death if I can do this safely. So what happens is, if you can Q directly onto that spot, and what happens is you don't have to move your character. You are able to Q, you know, maybe throw East, go for a smite steal on the timer, and then ulti out immediately without even having to move, right? It's like really broken. So I'm gonna Q. I just sit here, throw E smite, and press R out. It's so much easier than it looks too, with 0% risk. Once you get good enough at it, you can do the same exact thing in Baron Pit too. Let's fast forward. This spot, oh sorry, the spot for Baron Pit is right there, by the way. Here, this is the spot. You walk up on it, and you want to be right here on this crack. And your cursor, it is important, your cursor just can be right in line with this crack here. So right on over the wall there. I lied. So sorry. Let's have the clone die. Okay. It's actually over here more. You want to aim more towards the bush. Let's see. Let's aim for the top of this rock. There we go. I swear I made this champion. So yeah, okay. We're going to aim right here in this crevice is the spot. Aim for the pointy part of the rock over here. Don't aim for the crack. That was a test, and you guys pass. So again, the usage of it, I'm gonna Q over onto the spot, throw E, try to get the steal, and ulti him out with no danger there, or way less danger. Right? A lot of times, obviously on AD as well, like sometimes it's worth trying to like commit to it to get the auto attack off. But I just wanted to show you guys the way to make it simple and very, very low risk. So.